Have you ever experienced an earthquake? Yesterday, we saw a warning about the earthquake in California, and I instantly started messaging friends that I knew were out in that area just to find out what their firsthand responses were, make sure they were okay, see if they had any damage, all of that fun stuff, not so fun stuff, right? But it reminded me, especially with the topic of today, about how we are so confident about the ground beneath our feet unless you've lived through an earthquake. If you've if you have experienced an earthquake, you understand the feeling of the ground shaking under your feet. You understand the feeling of the jerks and the shakes and sometimes even the drop of the earth under your feet, right? So it would make sense that people that have experienced an earthquake might have a little bit of trouble trusting their sure footing, right? So today's verse is trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, submit to him, and he will make your path straight. We oftentimes think that trust is a given or earned or uh, not achievable. In the business world, we talk about the know, like, and trust factor. You got to get people to know you, you got to get people to like you, and you got to get people to trust you. And you got to do that in a way that's not sleazy, right? So, but I have been around the business world for several years now. Won't go into that because I'm significantly older than I was when I came in. But the thing that I've learned is there are some really amazing business people out there. And then there are some people that are showing you a imaginary snapshot of their success. So a few years ago, I went and I was doing R&D, research and development, on the business path that I wanted to take with my business. I was wanting to do speaking. I was wanting to do all this stuff. And, if I say I'm doing speaking, I can get 15 different posts on Facebook today trying to get me to be a TEDx speaker, to be a speaker on main stages, to do so many different things. But what I have learned is they're all shortcuts to hard work. Shortcuts to hard work and dedication. Now, I'm not saying all of them are scams, but as friends reminded me last fall, there are things that I already know and that I already do that I don't need to take another class for. I need to learn to trust that what God has put in me, he is developing in me, and I just need to partner in the discipline side with him to move forward because he's got a path for me. I don't have to go forge my own path. There is a path for me. I have to lean into his understanding of where I'm at, why I'm here, and take the lessons from where I'm at because it will sharpen me and make me better for where I'm going. But like I said, several years ago, I went and I had a crazy experience. I showed up in San Diego, and I was heading to Las Vegas next. And the people that I was going to be with in Las Vegas were at San Diego. And I had like a cheap flight, Spirit Airline flight from San Diego to Las Vegas. And the guy that I was with, he goes, "Hey, we all have a private plane. You want to jump on the private plane with us, and you can ride to Las Vegas with us, get in take the limousine to the hotel. So there's about 10 of us. We jumped on the plane. We went to John Wayne Airport. We sitting there, a big G6 pulls in. I'm like, okay, this is the plane. We go out there. The guy that is leading everything, there was about 4 other women and 5 other guys, and then the guy that had the plane. And he starts taking pictures in front of this G6. So he's bringing everybody up, taking pictures of this G6, and then we walk across the tarmac and get on a King Air. Now, if you don't know what a King Air is a turboprop plane. It's not a jet. It's not anything spectacular. It is one of my favorite planes. Hey, Nicole, how are you? And so I get on the plane and I'm like, he just did a rope-a-dope. This person who's claiming to be this guru in the speaking world and in all these things, he just did a rope-a-dope. He's posting on social media about flying to Las Vegas with a picture of him. I have no idea how I just did that. With a picture of him at the G6, and he's getting on a King Air. Again, I worked on planes. I was an aviation electrician. I love King Airs. It's a fun little plane. I was fine being in a King Air, but he tainted it. He tainted it by doing this whole rope-a-dope thing. And that was a fracture in the trust that I had in that person. Now, again, I wasn't there to really learn his ways. I was there that I was watching him, learning from him, seeing what he was doing well and what he wasn't doing well. And I really wanted to really just sharpen my skills and learn how to build up things in the back end for my speaking business. And I was using it as a way to accelerate me past a few rough spots, obstacles, I would say. Well, needless to say, after that trip, I kind of faded into the black after that. I just went and started seeking out other people that I knew that would be better suited to train me, because that trust had been eroded. It was a metaphorical earthquake, if you take it that way. But when I saw an article that a friend of mine wrote about people that have lived through earthquakes, when you know that the ground beneath your feet is supposed to be the most solid thing, earthquakes can kind of shake you up inside. And what if we needed that shaking? We needed to be shook just a little bit to say, what do I really believe in? Oh, jostle us out of our days of where we're going because we're in a routine motion to say, oh, I actually need to be somebody that needs to be on this path, that needs to be going where God's taking me over here. And I've just been in the hamster wheel doing circles because that's all I know to do. But I didn't stop and lean into God. I didn't ask him in any type of advisory capacity if this was the path I was supposed to be on. So I want to ask you, the challenge questions today are this. Are you leaning on your own understanding right now? Are you leaning on God's? What part of your life do you need to surrender trust to? As a victim of sexual assault, as a survivor of sexual assault. Good morning, Danielle. I also know that in doing that, going through that that my trust was eroded. That was my earthquake. That was my time that shook me to my core. And I took all of my protection, all of my awareness, all of my ability to protect myself onto my own shoulders. And I stopped leaning on God. I stopped leaning on friends. I stopped leaning on community. I stopped leaning into Him. So I started coming back and started seeking God and started asking Him, where does He want to start healing me? Because I knew that He had a mission for me. And when I started doing that, He started putting the right people in the right places and giving me the right counsel and giving me the way to learn how to trust Him again with my most shattered, broken pieces. So the third question is, how would your perspective change if you believed God is guiding every step? For me, it opened up a big, beautiful world. Yes, Nicole. I went into this isolation, and that's where the enemy wants us. But once I started leaning into Him, it was like a big, beautiful sky with a big, beautiful Texas sunset came out. I know I'm from Texas, not California or Louisiana, but it opened up a big, beautiful painted sunset. I saw colors again. I might even go to say that I tasted colors again, because I tasted the world with the rich milk and honey that God intended us to savor it in. So today's challenge for you is to ask yourself in these questions, where are you leaning on your own understanding right now? What part of your life needs surrendered trust? Do you need to surrender trust? And how would your perspective change if you believed God is guiding every step? So I hope you take some time to think about these today. I would love to hear your comments below. If you're watching the replay, I would love for you to comment replay. If you're watching live, thank you for tuning in, and we will see you tomorrow. And our topic tomorrow is about worth. And baby, you're worth it. Talk to you then. See you on the flip side.